Well, music is a universal language, and the artistic director for the Carmel Symphony Orchestra says no matter the tune, it can bring us all together.
News 8's Katira Winfrey spoke to her for tonight's We Stand Together report.
A symphony orchestra isn't the typical place you'll envision when you talk about diversity and inclusion. But just as notes from varying instruments come together to make something beautiful, Carmel Symphony Orchestra Artistic Director Janna Hymes says we have the ability to do the same, merging our diverse backgrounds into one, creating a more beautiful place.
The symphony is a safe place. It's a place for everybody. There are no boundaries, and the players who play in our orchestra come from a wide variety of backgrounds. So we are incredibly inclusive from day one. I love work because we have no boundaries. And when I program pieces, it's with the thought in mind that I'm going to be representing everyone around the world. And so when I program a piece or a season, I like to have a mixture of everything because that's really what the world is. And that's how I view it.
They say music has a way of bringing people together. You can hear a sound and kind of, no matter your background, you're able to have an appreciation for it, or you're able to recall something in life that might have sparked a memory for you.
And it's absolutely true. Music is an international language. And some music is written with a specific goal in mind for people to remember a topic or a story. There's a reason why it was written, whether it's about something that happened politically or historically, or it's a love story. I have heard so many stories, and I have so many great remembrances of people being altered by musical performances that I've been part of. And I cannot even tell you how incredibly rewarding that is. And even some music is not that way. Some music is very thought-provoking, and it wants you to think in a very deep and profound way, and it's not always cheery and wonderful, and that's important too. So we want people to feel some emotion every time they come to a concert. But I would say that music has really saved a lot of people during the last 5 months. But I think that people have used it for a respite. So we use music for different reasons and to feel different ways. And it can also bring us great solid, a sense of calm and peace, but it can also be very thought-provoking and bring us to new levels that we never thought that we had. And I love that about it.
Talk about your role when it comes to diversity, or just finding diverse talent, or just the need to put the option of being in a symphony orchestra in front of children who may never even be in that world.
I think the educational concerts that we do are some of the most important concerts that we do, because these give kids an option not only to see and hear an orchestra, but to know, again, it's a safe place and a place that they can join, and there's no judgment. And I love that. We happen to be very fortunate in Carmel because the schools have such a very healthy educational program, and one of the best in the country. And they're known all over the country as being incredible schools for music. But I like to go to places where those schools are not as fortunate, and I like to be able to do that. And so I'm starting a program. I'm writing it up now, and I really want to see it happen. I really want to make progress with this, where we go into some areas where kids are not as fortunate and don't see an orchestra even once or twice a year like some of these other schools, and where we can do some concerts and presentations.
Do you draw from what we're seeing around us when you're developing new programs?
I'm always aware of what's going on in the world, but yes, I'm very affected by what goes around politically and in the world, but I don't know if it directly affects how I program. I think I've always programmed with an idea of inclusivity, equality, without even knowing that I was programming in a very diverse way. I've always had that in my mind, where, I never really liked doing February Black History Month, because it shouldn't be 1 month when we play that music. We should be playing music by Black composers throughout the year. It's almost like our civic stature as an orchestra, that we need to serve our community, and we need to be fair, and we need to show that we're equitable, that we're inclusive, that diversity is part of our ethos, our everyday being, our everyday working, so that when you come to the orchestra, you're going to see that no matter what you come and are a part of. So then it becomes part of the norm. And I feel almost that's part of our responsibility. I heard a great quote recently. Someone said, don't forget the word civil in civilization. And I love that because it's kind of where I'm coming from. You know, let's all be in this together and let's all be on the same bandwagon, because in the end, it's going to be so much better.
Well, Hymes will be continuing her work promoting diversity and inclusion by partnering with several universities across the country.
And now remember, you can also listen to our We Stand Together podcast anytime. Find tonight's episode and others online at the allindianapodcastnetwork.com.